nuclear meltdowns and releases of radioactive materials at the Fukushima nuclear power plant following the Tohoku earthquake and the tsunami on 11 March 2011. It is the largest nuclear disaster since the Chernobyl disaster of 1986. The plant comprises 6 separate boiling water reactors originally designed by General Electric and maintained by the Tokyo Electric Power Company. At the time of the quake, Reactor 4 had been defueled while 5 and 6 were in cold shutdown for planned maintenance. Immediately after the earthquake, the remaining reactors 1 through 3 shut down automatically, and emergency generators came online to control electronics and coolant systems. However, the tsunami following the earthquake quickly flooded the low-lying rooms in which the emergency generators were housed. The flooded generators failed, cutting power to the critical pumps that must continuously circulate coolant water through a nuclear reactor to keep it from melting down. As the pumps stopped, the reactors overheated due to the high radioactive decay heat that normally continues for hours or days after a nuclear reactor shuts down. At this point, only prompt flooding of the reactors with seawater could have cooled the reactors quickly enough to prevent meltdown. Saltwater flooding was delayed because it would ruin the costly reactors permanently. Flooding with seawater was finally commenced only after the government ordered that seawater be used, and at this point it was already too late to prevent meltdown. As the water boiled away and levels in the fuel rods pools dropped, they began to overheat severely and to melt down. In the hours and days that followed, reactors 1, 2, and 3 experienced full meltdown. In the intense heat and pressure of the melting reactors, a reaction between the nuclear fuel metal cladding and the remaining water surrounding them produced explosive hydrogen gas. As workers struggled to cool and shut down the reactors, several hydrogen air chemical explosions occurred. Concerns about the repeated small explosions, the atmospheric venting of radioactive gases, and the possibility of larger explosions led to a 20-kilometer, 12-mile radius evacuation around the plant. During the early days of the accident, workers were temporarily evacuated at various times for radiation safety reasons. At the same time, seawater that had been exposed to the melting rods was returned to the sea, heated and radioactive in large volumes for several months until recirculating units could be put in place to repeatedly cool and reuse a limited quantity of water for cooling.
Oh, Medusa, you beguiled so many, basking with only your breasts exposed on the shores of San Onofre. Your hideous face hidden, your tits flashing seductively like some cheap pole dancer, promising easy gratification, all the pleasure you ever wanted, with no consequences. Oh, Medusa. Oh, Medusa, you treacherous beast. Would anyone ever want you if they knew that just one glance at your horrific face would turn any creature to stone? So shrewdly you lie. You promise to suckle us with unfettered nourishment, power, energy, profits, but fed us instead the vapors of death. What beast bore you, for whom there is no killing, that even beheaded, your putrid carcass will remain virulent, a terrifying monster that must be vigilantly guarded and contained for eternity, forever, hundreds of generations from now? Your severed head will remain the ultimate weapon of terror for whomever wields it. a deadly talisman that will be endlessly fought over until it finally fulfills its charge, the obliteration of everything in its shadow. Oh, Medusa, when your grandmother Gaia shudders at the thought of you, will you shake your deadly cough in a jealous response, releasing satanic serpents in every direction over land and sea and air? How can we appease you? How can we contain you? How can we destroy you? Your promises were so seductive that we feigned ignorance of your treachery, forgetting the wisdom of the ancients, laughing at the mistakes of the past. Had no one handed down to us the sage story of Perseus, who only briefly left your severed head unattended on the shores of Africa, in pursuit of love and family, while venomous vipers dripped from your horrific remains, terrorizing the continent to this day? And now, you lay waiting. Now you lie, waiting on the shores of San Onofre.